How do you know if a man is looking for a committed, lasting relationship? And even more importantly, how do you know if he's looking for that kind of a relationship with you? Hello, my name is Matthew Coast, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the three most important red flags that are green flags that a man can have that show that he's looking for a committed, lasting relationship. This is one of those things where you need all three of these. So one or two of them aren't enough. You want all three of these green flags. So green flag number one here is he is unapologetic about what it is that he wants. And so he doesn't avoid the topic about what he's looking for, even if he doesn't say that he's looking for a commitment. It's okay if a guy says that he's not really sure, right? If you're like, hey, what are you looking for? What are you interested in as far as dating? It's okay if he says that he's not sure. A lot of people kind of freak out about that. You want to look at that as like a yellow flag. If he straight up tells you that he's not looking for anything serious, or that he just wants to have fun, or that he's not looking for a commitment or a real relationship or any of that kind of stuff, you need to believe him at his word. If he says that he's not really sure, you want to treat it as a yellow flag, right? And what that basically means is that you don't want to get too invested in him. You want to wait and see, because sometimes things can change, right? Actually, we have a coach, her name's Helena Hart, and when Helena met her now husband, he was unsure of what it was that he was looking for. He didn't know, right? And most guys deep inside, they're actually looking for a real relationship. Believe it or not, they've actually done studies on this, and they found around 87% of men are looking for real relationships. The problem is there's all kinds of different problems, but the point is that if he's unsure, it's okay. You can continue to date him, but you don't want to get overly invested in him until he shows you and he tells you that he's looking for something real. And then the last one is that he might tell you that he's looking for something real, which is great as well, right? You want to find a guy that's the best case scenario, because most guys will be honest about this, right? Most guys will tell you straight up what it is that they're looking for. And so if they aren't looking for anything real, they'll tell you. If they're not sure, they'll tell you. And if they're certain about it, they'll tell you that as well. Now, if a guy runs away, because sometimes we have women in our community where a guy will just she'll be like, oh, what are you looking for? What's going on? Where's this? Where do you see things going? He's like, oh, he gets up and just starts running out of the room. That is a red flag. Okay. There's no doubt about it. If he's running away from the question, avoiding it altogether, getting up and literally running out of the room, that's a red flag. So sign number two is he wants to bring your lives together. So he's trying to mold your lives together. And so the first one that we talked about is kind of the verbal, right? And I talk about the words and the actions. Words and actions have to be in alignment. If words are there, but actions aren't there, that's a red flag. If actions are there, but words aren't there, that's another red flag, right? You want them both to be there. Sometimes actions speak louder than words. Sometimes words speak louder than actions. And so you want them to be together. And so what does this look like? This looks like him wanting to know more about you and your life and how you think, and caring about you and what's going on with you and how your life is going. He'll want you to understand him and his life and how he thinks and what's going on with him. He'll want to include you in his activities and the different things that are going on in his life. He'll want to be invited and be included in your world and whatever's going on with you in your life. He'll want you to meet his friends and family. He'll want to meet your friends and family. He'll end up making pet names for you. You guys will have pet names for each other and stuff like that. That's always a good sign. Some people hate pet names. I think they're great. And there's a whole bunch of reasons I think that they're great. But that's one of the things a lot of guys do. He'll make you a priority. You'll go on vacations together. You're going to open up about vulnerabilities with each other. He'll want to do that with you and what's going on with him. And now you may be thinking, I know what you may be thinking right now. You may be thinking, but Matt, haven't you said before that he might be doing all these things even though he doesn't want a real commitment? The answer is yes, which is why I said if he's just doing the actions, but his words are out of alignment, it's a red flag. You want both of them. You need both of these things. He needs to talk about it and he needs to show it. If those things are in alignment, then you're on the right path. That's very, very important. And so if he's not doing those things, right? If he's not, doing all these things where he's including you in his life and you're meeting his friends and family and he's opening up and you're getting pet names for each other and you're sharing your lives together, that's a big red flag. It's a big red flag if he doesn't do it. And it's a green flag if he does do it, but you want the first one and the second one together. And so number three of the things that you want, green flags, here it is: consistency over time. So in my opinion, my humble opinion, too many people are hooking up way too quickly and getting into relationships way too quickly. It's happening too quickly. And I think it's a big problem that a lot of people have in the West, which is one of the reasons why our divorce rates and breakups and stuff are so bad. And there's so much of it going on. And, can it work? I feel like I always hear this where I'm like, don't, wait a little bit to hook up. And there's like always some woman that's like, well, I have a friend and this friend hooked up with her boyfriend on the first date. Now they're married. Can that work? Can that happen? Absolutely. I know people that have done it. There are tons of people that have done it. I have a friend who got married after knowing his wife for I think it was a week and a half, 2 weeks there. He was just like, I know you're the one, slapped a ring on her finger, and they got married. And they've been married now for I think it's going on 10 years now. And, it can work. It can happen. But the likelihood of it not working, of it ending in disaster is really, really high. I mean, how many guys do you have to sleep with on a first date for one of them to want a real relationship with you? I don't know the answer to that question. I hope you don't know the answer to that question too. But the point is that what you want to look for is consistency, right? You want to see his actions over time. This is what I do. Is I'm a researcher, and my whole job is about researching what women do that make them successful and then taking that back to you and giving it to you. And so what women do that are successful, making sure that you have the highest probability of being successful in dating is waiting, is just looking at his actions, looking at his patterns. A lot of times what ends up happening is two people meet and the chemistry is amazing. You're just like, oh, I just love you. You're so amazing, right? And then you guys jump into a relationship and you start seeing these red flags, but you ignore them because you're so excited and everything's so amazing and you want this to work, right? We all meet somebody and they seem amazing and we want it to work. But then the red flags get bigger and bigger and bigger because we pretend like they aren't there until they end up just blowing up in our faces. And next thing you know, that you're committed and you jumped into a relationship and his consistency goes down after a month or two. Red flags start popping up. You start realizing this wasn't the relationship that you thought that you were getting into from the beginning. Next thing you know, you're stuck. You're coming to me, getting advice about how to get him to be like he used to be and how to get rid of his red flags and change him and twist him into the pretzel that you want him to be and put a nice bow on him and put him up on the mantle so that everybody can see how amazing this man is that you thought that he was when you first got into the relationship. And I don't want that for you. I mean, I love you coming to me and talking to me and me helping you. However, I want you to be successful. And so really, really just think about this. Think about this for just a second. It takes at least 3 months of consistently meeting with someone in real life to really know who they are. That's what they've found, right? They found that usually it takes up to around 3 months for people to start letting down their guard and start showing you who they really are. And so my suggestion is that you don't get into a relationship before the 3-month mark. Just wait, just date whatever it is that you do in dating. My suggestion is that you wait at least 3 months before making anything official with a man, at least 3 months. And so whatever that means to you, that means to you, but you want to see him in different environments, right? Because that's what really tells you. Because a lot of people, they're like, oh, they just hang out in the same kind of environment over and over and over again. And the person that they're with never has to deal with any challenges when they're around them. And then when they get married or they're in a relationship, all of a sudden the person seems like they're a totally different person. And the reason that happens is because it's not that they're a different person. It's that they weren't being challenged. These different sides of them didn't come up before. The stresses that are there now, you've never seen them before. And so you want to experience him in a whole bunch of different environments so that when so that you can see how he acts, right? If he's stressed out, how is he going to act? If he has to learn something that's difficult for him, how is he going to act? If he's put into different situations where things don't go his way, how is he going to act? There's a woman in our community today actually who posted, and she was talking about how like the difficulties with men. And one of the reasons why a lot of women ghost men, which by the way, if you don't know, women are about 150% more likely to ghost a man than a man is to ghost a woman. But anyway, the point is that that they've done studies on that. The point is that a lot of times one of the reasons why people ghost each other is because when you let somebody down and you tell them that they're not right for you, they freak out and lose their minds and start attacking you. And this woman was talking about how this guy that she rejected was like berating her in the middle of like some kind of public area. And right. And she thought she was like, oh, I thought he was a really nice guy. And I tried to let him down really nice. And then he started, like yelling at me or whatever. And it's like, that's what happens, right? Because all of a sudden things aren't going his way. All of a sudden things are stressful. All of a sudden he's not getting what he wants. And you're seeing his character come out. That's who he is. That's his character. And so you want to see that as quickly as possible so that you know what this man's character is like. Is he going to be like a really cool, calm-headed guy who takes care of things, who doesn't get overly stressed out and is like, hey, we're going to make things happen? Or is he going to lose his mind and start, running around screaming at people and crying and, throwing fits and, threatening people and stuff? You want to find that out as quickly as possible. And it can take time. And that's why you want consistency over time. I'm going to go back over the 3 green flags. And again, you want all of these green flags there. It's not, you can't just have 1 or 2. You need all 3 of them. The first one is that he's unapologetic about what it is that he wants. And so this is the verbal one, right? And then the second one is he wants to bring your lives together. And so this is the action. So words and actions need to be in alignment. And then the third one is consistency over time. And so his words and actions are in alignment over a long period of time, because that is the best way to get a determination of who this guy is and what's going on with him. And it's your best way to see what kind of red flags this guy has with you so that you know what kind of a situation you're getting yourself into.